Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. The following video will contain spoilers from The Flash episode of Season 3 called Dead or Alive. So if you don't want anything spoiled or ruined for you, stop watching now. Also, there may be a few four-letter words in here, so viewer discretion is advised. Okay guys, Dave here. Alright, I just got done watching this week's episode of Flash for the second time, just to make sure I catch up on everything. Now, this puts me in a bad spot, because although this episode didn't have the same unfortunate bad taste in the mouth that the episode Monster left with me, I gotta admit it was an okay episode, but I saw several things that were wrong with it. To be honest, I was tempted to almost roast this episode alone. And I don't want to do that. When I roast Arrow and the other stuff, I do it because I want it to keep a high quality of writing and everything. And The Flash is my favorite superhero TV show. I don't want it to start sucking. But there's just some iffy things here. Alright. First off, we jump into a fantasy sequence where Barry is going after some high-tech arms dealers, and HR is narrating it, and him as himself being the main hero of it. Of course, he snaps out of it. Barry's doing the real fight against the arms guys. Kid Flash ends up joining them, and they pull a little, fast move switcheroo thing to confuse them, and then Kid Flash yanks the wheel, and they crash into a overpass and get stopped by a bus full of cheerleaders as well. So of course Kid Flash gets his moment in the sun. He's all happy about it. Okay. It's wish fulfillment is what that is, and it was kind of cute. It's just a little iffy. Meanwhile, Iris is wanting to try to make a name for herself, writing a story to hopefully change things up, because she knows that her time may be limited, and she wants to make an impact in the world. I understand that. I mean, she's around superheroes all this time. That kind of makes sense. But meanwhile, we have this mysterious woman, Gypsy, who breaks into Jitters, and after picking up a quarter that HR had left, she actually gets a vibe off it. So we see that she has vibe-like powers. Okay. See, this is what disturbs me, and I'm going to get into this a little later. See, Gypsy was one of the members of the Justice League Detroit, along with Vibe, as well as Steel and Vixen. And, well, she had the ability to camouflage herself as well as to create illusions. That was the comics. They changed her around a little bit. Remember how I went off about how they turned the top into Count Vertigo in a skirt? They did something similar here with Gypsy. She eventually gets tracked down to Star Labs, and she makes herself known. She goes to try to apprehend HR. Vibe fails. Kid Flash fails. And she even says, wait, you have Vibe powers? This is good. This is interesting. And, Cisco immediately falls for her and is trying to flirt and whatnot. But they end up eventually explaining what's going on. Apparently, about 25 years ago on Earth 19, there was another Earth that breached and started to invade it. They managed, I believe that caused the same blight that got rid of the coffee and everything like that. But ever since then, there were strict rules that interdimensional travel is forbidden. HR decided to come anyway. He wanted to actually become something more than just a fantasy writer. He wanted to actually make a difference if possible. So, when he gets ready to go back, Cisco steps up to challenge for trial by combat, which is to the death, against someone with his virtual same powers. So he has 24 hours to train and to go from there. So they have a little training montage going on. He's trying to figure out how to do his powers and whatnot. Now, what gets me is, okay, She's a lovely little dark-haired girl, possibly Latina. She has the same powers as Vibe. She even makes mention that they resonate on a similar frequency. And they both have similar traits, although Cisco is attracted to her. I was worried, and I actually put this theory out there both on Twitter and on my Facebook, that given that they have the same powers, and they not only that, but they resonate on a similar frequency, I was willing to bet that not only did Gypsy get like just Vibe's powers, I was willing to bet that she was actually a gender-bent version of Cisco on Earth 19. It makes sense, similar style, but she was more dangerous because she had more experience. She was even able to freeze Kid Flash in his place by actually counteracting his speed force. So that's pretty potent right there. But I don't know. It was a little iffy, and I think that's part of the reason why when they started to kiss and she pulled back in the portal, probably because she realized it would be masturbation if that was the case. Seriously. Now, after explaining all this, go through a montage. Cisco's not really progressing as much as they would like, so Barry and HR decide to try to find Gypsy, since he put a tracker on her, to try to go in, get and go out. So, but unfortunately it didn't quite work so well. He tried to slap some power dampening cuffs on her. Gypsy manages to flip a speedster, put the cuffs on him, and was just about to say they really forfeit. They say, no, give it some time. Cisco will hold up his end. She decides to take HR just, as a bargaining chip. Understandable. And people were wondering, why the heck didn't Flash vibrate out of there? Take a closer look at the cuffs. Those were power dampener cuffs. He had no power at that time. That's why he didn't vibrate out of it. But, yeah. Cisco is trying to get better, but now he's finding out that his friends don't really have that much confidence in him. Julian's trying to offer advice, but coming off all snarky. He does end up showing that when she's stepping through a portal, she doesn't have her feet on the ground for a bit, so that could be one good shot to take out of her. Meanwhile, Iris ends up recruiting Wally to go to try to find more about this arms dealer to get this high-tech stuff. She even sends him out to do a recon around the perimeter. She finds the place. She gets confronted by one of these high-tech guns that's going to go all pew-pew on her. And she doesn't even face. She walks right up to the frickin' barrel, and she's practically daring the guy. Wally has to come in, deck the son of a booger. Then, Joe is not happy about this. And Barry's trying to console her, find out what the hell's going on, about why she's so driven. And here's the thing. I was giving Wally a hard time when he wanted to jump in front of a moving car to trigger his powers. Oh, God. What is it about the Wests and when their back is against the wall, they decide to do the most suicidal, stupid shit ever? I told you there would be four-letter words. It's just frustrating as hell. But they're eventually trying to help calm her down to make sure that she doesn't do anything stupid like it's the future. Meanwhile, we got the big fight between Vibe and Gypsy. Vibe's finally suited up, and it looks damn good on him, I'll admit this. And, they blast each other, they quip, and they start portal hopping. They go to Earth 2. Then they go to Earth 38 into the Catco building, one of the shortest frickin' cameos I've ever seen, but all we see is the cameo of the building and Miss Tessmacher. We don't get to see Kara or James Olsen or anything like that. Apparently they couldn't afford it. I don't know what's going on. Then they end up on Earth Volcano. I don't know which one that would be, but Vibe's wearing it down a little bit. Then they come back to our Earth. She tries to do the portal breach and blast. Vibe manages to catch her off guard, knocks her down, and the supposed battle to the death, which, by the way, this was supposed to be 24 hours to prepare. 24 hours! When the challenge was met, it was daytime. When they fought, it was nighttime. That's not 24 hours! Someone's not keeping time. And that's the other messed up part. HR mentioned how many times that she's punctual, how much she's right on time. They can't even get 24 hours right in the show. Guys, what happened? There was no saying about speeding up the timetable. There was no saying now you have 12 hours instead of 24. It doesn't make any freaking sense. Somebody, please, learn how to tell time on your own freaking show. So, celebrations are had here. Cisco says that the reason he helped HR is because Wells always helped him when they needed him. Now that things were reversed, so he's trying to pay him back, as it were. So they're trying to be all positive about it and whatnot, so it's kind of working out. But meanwhile, Iris gets to write her story, Barry reads it, and then he gets a brilliant idea. He eventually goes to Wally and says, look, I've been going about this all wrong. According to Julian, I can't get my speed up fast enough. Are you fucking kidding me? Pardon me. Sorry about that. Real world called. Anyway, where was I? Oh, just as I was wrapping things up here. Okay, Barry decides that he isn't going to be able to figure this out. He's getting up to higher speed in time. He's not progressing fast enough to take on Savitar. So he comes up with the idea for the epilogue where he talks to Wally. He says, I'm not going to save Iris, you are. So now his whole thing is going to be trying to train Wally to be there to change the future, because he already has changed something in the future already. So he's counting on Wally to be his ace in the hole. It's just, like I said, it was an okay episode, but the flaws were showing in here. I mean, it's just, Iris becoming practically suicidal and Daredevil crazy. Them swapping Gypsy's powers for Vibe with a vagina. It just, and then not being able to tell what 24 hours means. I'm sorry, did Mark Guggenheim have something to do with this? I don't know. Anyway, it was an okay episode, but not exactly one of my favorites. I hate it when they just start to crap all over the characters, man. I mean, I was giving Powerless the same crap because of, in the promos, what they were doing with Crimson Fox. Clearly they said that they had the name right, but not the powers. They just straight up changed Gypsy on this one, and I don't know how to feel about it. She was a Vibe with a vagina. That's what she was, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if she was a female version of Francisco Ramon, maybe Francesca. I don't know. That would work. Maybe that's part of the reason why she didn't actually kiss him, because that would be a little weird. Ugh. I don't know. And I could be wrong about this. They could just happen to be people with the same kind of powers, just separated by different realities. But, well, the multiverse is pretty weird as it is. So, and given the changes that they made to Gypsy, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually are one and the same person, just with the chromosome difference. It's okay. It was kind of a filler episode. It was kind of entertaining, but I don't know. I mean, I was expecting a little bit more, especially since Vibe needs his time in the sun. I was really hoping for more out of this. I don't know. So what do you guys think? Please like, comment, subscribe, share, pass this bad boy around. If the quality of The Flash continues to go downhill, I'm going to end up starting to roast it the same way I do Arrow. Speaking of which, this week's episode of Arrow, we get to find out more about Tina. And I heard a rumor that was posted on Reddit that tells the truth, or the real name about Tina Bowen. And if I'm right about this, this roast is going to be nasty, and Mark Guggenheim has lost his damn mind. So prepare yourselves for that. Also, I'm going to be doing an Arrow roast this week, but if you also want to see other things that I'm interested in, particularly when I got to see the wonderful performance troupe Phantasmagoria at a steampunk event at Renninger's this last weekend, check it out. I managed to interview 4 of the cast members several lovely ladies. I even got to dance with one of them. Oh, God. I'm telling you, dude. These people are freaking awesome. If you're in the Central Florida area, or if you're going to be in Athens, where they're going to be performing later this year, or Boston, is it Boston? Or Baltimore, or one of those things. They are going to be doing some awesome stuff. So feel free to check them out. And look at me. I actually did an interview, so it's kind of legitimate journalism here. So I'm trying to spread out. But yeah, check that out if you want to see other things that I'm interested in. So you want to hear stories about my goofy ass dancing with a beautiful woman, check that out too. I have them numbered from like Phantasmagoria at Renninger's parts 1 through 13. Part 4 was when I told a story about one of them got up to make me dance. There's a gorgeous thing on part 5 where the fire that they're doing at dancing at night looks freaking ethereal as hell. There's a great dancer, Elithia, you might want to check out on number 10. This woman can shake her moneymaker, I'm telling you what. And the girl had me tongue-tied when I was doing an interview with her. So that doesn't happen very often unless you're making the blood leave my skull. Anyway, that's all for now, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And be sure to check out my Arrow Roast for this week. Oh, it's going to be a fucking doozy. All right, guys. Till next time, Dave signing off. Peace. Yum, yum.